Welcome to Alpha Coding Podcast, an all-access pass to medical coding and billing pro tips that help you start your week off smarter. And now, here is your host, Toni Elhoms.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alpha Coding Podcast series. I am your host, Toni Elhoms. Welcome to episode 11 of the podcast. Today is March 16th, and I am feeling a bit better from last week. So thank you to all of our listeners that reached out with your support and well wishes. That really means a lot to me, so thank you. And also, for the record, I do not have the coronavirus. Things have escalated so quickly with this pandemic, and we all have to be super careful. And a lot of today's episode is going to focus on my pro tips for working from home, because I know that so much has changed even since I was on the air last week. So stay safe and stay healthy. I also want to thank all of our attendees for the 4-part webinar series that Terry Fletcher and I are doing as part of preparing the industry for the 2021 E&M coding changes. Part 1, which includes the timeline for implementation and workflows impacted by these changes, is currently available on demand. So we've spent a lot of time designing a really tangible solution that takes the guesswork out of it for you. So be sure to check out terryfletcher.net for more information. I also want to give a special shout out to my colleague, Victoria Mole from Contempo Coding. Victoria was a guest on the podcast back in episode 3. If you haven't heard that episode, I highly encourage you to go back and listen. But she has a new YouTube series that drops new coding related videos every Wednesday. She's awesome and provides such great information. This week's episode was actually one of my favorites, so you'll have to go and check it out. So we've got Alpha Monday, Terry Tuesday, and Victoria Wednesday, folks. This is some amazing talent and incredibly valuable free content that's coming to you every single week. So way to go, Victoria. Our topic for today is going to focus on my top pro tips for working from home. I've been wanting to do this episode for a while, and it couldn't be more perfect timing with everything that's going on right now with the CDC's new recommendations, and we'll get into that more in just a minute. So before we dive into our topic, it's time for your Monday dose of positivity, the Mindset Monday tip, brought to you by Project Resume. When is the last time you had your resume updated? Your resume is literally your entry ticket to that next great opportunity. Project Resume will design a customized ATS-friendly resume to demonstrate your unique skills and experience. Make that investment in yourself today. Visit projectresume.net and mention my code ALPHACODING for special pricing. So our Mindset Monday tip is all about how precious time is. So the quote I want to share with you is from Steve Jobs, and he said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life." And those are really powerful words, because that message is especially true with this coronavirus pandemic and so many people losing their jobs and being laid off, and also going from being an on-site employee to a remote employee. There's so many changes. It's also a scary time for small businesses and entrepreneurs, because the economy is greatly impacted by this. So it's just a really scary time, and I want to remind you this Monday, time stops for no one. So make sure that the way you're spending your time is something that ultimately brings you happiness. So that's our Mindset Monday tip. I hope that brings you some positivity. So today we're going to talk about my top 10 pro tips for working from home. With the CDC's new recommendations on social distancing and limiting exposure to groups of people, more employers are making the shift to allow employees to work from home. And I've been working from home for years, and I absolutely love it. As an entrepreneur trainer and as a healthcare consultant, I can work from anywhere that has a Wi-Fi connection. So I often meet with clients, I travel to speak at conferences and corporate trainings, but for the most part, the majority of the behind the scenes work is done from a home office. So working from home is great, but it's definitely not for everyone. And so if you're new to this working from home thing, I want to give you these tips because I think they'll be beneficial to you. I know when people go from an office environment to a home-based environment, it can be really overwhelming, especially in the beginning. And so it's going to help you to have these tips really build systems that can enhance your productivity. So this brings me to my pro tip number 1. Establish clear boundaries between work and home life. So this is going to look different for everyone, but first and foremost, I would have a conversation with your family. You want to make sure that you establish boundaries because oftentimes when people are working out of their home and the people around them are noticing that they're working from home, it can be a situation where the lines get blurred and the boundaries are not respected. And so a conversation to really clearly establish those boundaries can be very beneficial in the long run. So set expectations with your family on when you'll be working and what that means as far as noise level, and let them know that just because you're available in the home doesn't mean that you're available for a conversation or an interruption or really anything that's not related to your work schedule. And so a conversation like that can really go a long way in establishing those clear boundaries. I think a lot of times people think, well, you're working from home, so you can just do laundry or all of your cleaning or all of your errands that you wouldn't be able to do if you were at an office. And again, there is some flexibility with your day, but if you're going to be productive and you're going to maximize your time, it's really important that you establish those boundaries. Pro tip number 2, create a designated workspace for your home office. So this is not the time to start lounging on the couch with your laptop. You want to have a separate dedicated workspace because this really does a lot for your mental health. You can separate your workspace and your home space when you have a specific area that you do all of your work. You don't just get a pass to lounge around and work in bed all day. Of course, if you're sick, you may do things a little bit different, but a dedicated workspace can work wonders for your productivity and again, enhancing the boundaries between work and home life because you don't want those to blur over. If they blur over, you tend to get burned out because you feel like you're working all the time and we all need breaks. So pro tip number 3, design workflows and systems that really enhance your productivity. So for me, I'm super visual. I need to see things. I need to see them before they're real. And so I have whiteboards and I have notes and I have Post-its and I have a planner of everything that goes on in my life and my to-do lists. And so those for me are systems that really work. And so you have to figure out what works best for you. Most people are visual. So if you're a visual person, really work at getting what's in your head on paper in front of you. Use whiteboards, use things that can make these ideas and these concepts and these tasks achievable by getting them out of your head and putting them in front of you so you can visually see them. That works wonders, trust me. So pro tip number 4, write your plan out every single day. So I have a to-do list and I write it out at the beginning of each week. Of course, I add things on as things change by day, but I write every single thing down from the things that I do in the morning to the things I do in the afternoon, evening. Anything that needs to be done is going on that list in my planner. And this pro tip I know sounds super simple, and you've probably heard a lot of people tell you this because it works. When you take something and you write it down, you send a message, a signal to your brain that it drives you crazy, almost like a tick, if you don't complete it, if you don't finish it. So that signal to your brain can be very powerful as far as motivation to check everything off of your list for that day. And that's actually pro tip number 5. Check your list off. So making a list and checking it twice. You want to do this every single day. What happens when you check something something off your list, there's a dopamine rush that comes from your brain, and it gives you this feeling of accomplishment and sense of completion, and that can work wonders for your morale and your productivity. And so putting things on a list, I cannot tell you guys enough how important it is, how simple it is, but so many people overthink it and they don't put it on a list. They don't make a list. So get that pen and paper out, make that list, and watch things happen. And then check those things off your list, because then it makes you feel so much more accomplished. Pro tip number 6, create designated office hours. So I know in number 2, we talked about a designated workspace. In number 1, we talked about establishing boundaries. With number 6, I mean specifically outlining office hours for yourself. Which hours of the day are you most productive? Maybe you work best in blocks. I know I usually work best in blocks, so I can work really productively for 3-hour stretches, and then I need about an hour in between, so I break my day up depending on the day. Every day looks different for me, especially in consulting, but for you, if you're working from home, definitely create those designated office hours. Pro tip number 7, schedule downtime, your family time, and definitely schedule vacations. These are powerful motivators and can help really boost your productivity. So put this in your calendar, just like you schedule everything else in your life, your to-do list, your checklist. You want to also schedule this downtime. So in my calendar, I have certain hours and certain times of the day where I know I can't block anything in that because that's dedicated family time. Or we have a scheduled vacation or scheduled appointment. Those are things that you want to make sure are blocked off in your calendar. Otherwise, what happens is, and I used to do this early on in my career, you schedule work things. Well, then when you have something personal that comes up or something that needs your attention that's not work related, you have no time in your calendar to do so. So scheduling that specific intentional time is really an incredible productivity booster, and it can be great for working from home, again, to create those boundaries. So pro tip number 8, this is for the folks that are fairly new to the remote world. Don't feel like you have to overcompensate because you're not at the office. I used to do this when I first started working from home. When I was in the corporate world, I would work, and 5 o'clock would come and I hadn't eaten lunch. I really hadn't gotten up from my desk. And it was because I felt like I had to overcompensate because I wasn't in a physical office and people didn't see what I was doing and working on. And so if you have that feeling like you have to work, and you can't take any time away from your desk or go outside and get some fresh air, don't feel like that. You don't have to overcompensate because you're not at the office. You know what your productivity is, and your results will speak for themselves. So pro tip number 9, get used to hitting that mute button, especially if you have any type of noise background, if you've got kids at home or family. And this is by no way suggesting that you should or shouldn't. It just is part of having a home office. At some point in time, your kids or your family members may be in the same house that you're in while you're trying to work. And so you want to get used to hitting that mute button, because if there's any background noise that gets picked up on a conference call, it can make you look really bad because it creates this illusion that you don't have a separate designated workspace in your home office, and that is not good. So get used to hitting that mute button. That's just part of working from home. It happens to the best of us, so don't sweat it. And my pro tip number 10, review and revise as needed. So reflect on what has worked and what has not worked, because ultimately you want to figure out how to be productive, but work smarter, not harder. So that is really important. Just because you're doing a lot of work, you're working a lot of hours, doesn't mean that you're being productive and you're really working smarter, not harder. So keep that in mind, because I think that's an essential element. The other thing about writing everything down is that it makes the review and reflection process that much more streamlined, because because everything is there. You can visualize it. You can see what's worked, what hasn't worked, and then make adjustments and revisions from there. So to summarize, my top 10 pro tips for working from home. Number 1, establish clear boundaries between work and home life. Number 2, create a designated workspace for your home office. Number 3, design workflows and systems that enhance your productivity. Number 4, write out your plan and to-do list for each day. Number 5, check off your list daily. Number 6, create designated office hours. Number 7, schedule downtime, family time, and vacations. Number 8, don't feel like you have to overcompensate because you're not at the office. Number 9, become a pro at hitting that mute button on conference calls. Number 10, reflect and revise as needed. So it's time for this week's coding pro tip, brought to you by Contempo Coding, which is an on-demand educational resource provider created for coders by coders. They specialize in affordable coding certification prep courses to help you accelerate in your career. Right now, they're offering $100 off the Certified Risk Adjustment Coding Prep course when you order through our affiliate website. Check out our website, alphacodingexperts.com, and head over to the Deals and Discounts tab for a link to take advantage of this absolute steal of a deal. If you have a coding related question and would like it to be featured in one of our coding pro tips, please reach out to me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or wherever you frequent. I'd love to have your question spotlighted. So one of our listeners from Michigan submitted a question. Hi, Toni, what is the CPT code to report testing for the coronavirus? Well, I'm really glad you asked me this question this week because the AMA actually just released a new CPT code to report testing for the coronavirus. So this won't be in your CPT manual for 2020, but the code is 87635. And this is the CPT code that's used to report laboratory testing for the coronavirus. The code is effective immediately and will be listed in the 2021 CPT update. But keep in mind, it won't be in your 2020 CPT book, so you might want to write that in there. So grab a pen, write this code 87635 in your CPT manual so you have it for reference. That is a great question, so thanks for submitting that. And if you like what you're hearing, hit that subscribe button now so you never miss another episode. Also, be sure to drop us a rating and review on iTunes. We really appreciate your support. The more support we get with reviews and ratings, the more people we can reach and ultimately help. So thank you for helping us. Spread the word and get the message out there. So this concludes today's episode. I hope that my pro tips for working from home will be helpful to you. Until next week, thank you for listening to Alpha Coding Podcast. We'll see you next Monday.
For more information about medical coding and billing pro tips, including how to hire Alpha Coding experts, follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or visit our website at www.alphacodingexperts.com.